And we are live.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Tim. How are you doing today, man?
I am doing great.
Ah, good.
Got a really nice subject matter today that one moment, I'm going to share this. To share to feed. Okay, perfect. Wow, I didn't know I could do that. Nice. That was quick. I wonder how long Facebook had that. That's kind of cool. Anyways, yeah. So welcome first of all.
Right? Thank you.
We are in spring.
We are. We are. Even though I don't feel like it.
Yeah, but
I
this
mean, next
sort
week
of
is. I know. I was so excited to. I mean, then we got that whatever inch of snow last night or whatever you want to call it, and it was like, ugh.
yeah.
I am ready for spring to spring, and I'm ready for some dirt and get out of the crap.
Yeah, I don't like the mud. Springtime is one of my favorites just because it's kind of like this. Did you know there's a correlation between people that love sunrises and their second thing that they look forward to is spring? And if you think of the how similar it
How
is,
similar that is? Yeah. No.
yeah,
No. No. 100%. It's funny because you look forward to you kind of look forward to winter going into it, but you really look forward to coming out of it. You really look forward to spring,
yes,
and because next is summer, and there who hates summer? Nobody.
nobody, no. And I'll tell you, lately we've been having some really good summers, so I do love that.
Yeah, I also noticed where they said it's going to be it should be unseasonably hot and a drier summer this summer.
Really did not
Yeah,
know that.
so that could be good.
Fantastic. If you're stopping by, say hi. Bert, good morning. Good morning. We're going to jump in today. We're going to give a spotlight on a product creator. We don't know her yet, but we're going to get her on the pod. Matter of fact, we have another one too, which I'll come to that point. One of my advisors, we have an advisory panel that I sit on, and every week and that brings me to another point. See,
See,
oh, that
right.
ADD.
No,
Anyways, we have an advisory panel. All of them are 2 million on up, in revenue every year. One of them I think is north of 400 or 500 million. But at the end of the day, they all are nerdy when it comes to product. Like they love hearing great things. They love seeing product inventions. They're all in different niches. One is a real estate investor and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we're going to talk about the product creator and do a spotlight. And then once again, I'm going to try to get, because there were some things that I saw that they didn't talk about that I think the viewers would get a lot out of it. So we're going to go into that. We're going to get her on the pod. We have another person too. She left her job during the pandemic. She utilized the money that the government was freely given out, and she was smart. Instead of spending, because what happened with the economy is what are two things that blew up?
oh, personal spending because they're getting the free money.
Amazon just blew
Right.
up, and then the direct to your home, from shipping
Right.
companies blew up during that time.
That's right.
And you and I were like, what do we do? Do we do this? Do we do that? And we
Right.
went with Grub Guys.
Right.
We
Right.
launched Grub Guys during the pandemic.
That's right.
Um, so some people launched businesses and some people consumed. And I want to talk about that because this is a really big lesson that was brought up during this last weekend. And it's funny. Listen, we've heard it before, but you can either be a consumer or a creator, right?
Well,
What?
it's funny. It's funny. It just goes back to the simple rule of you're either adding or subtracting.
Yeah, right
You know
down
what
to budgets, which we're going to talk about
I, right.
because
Right.
that's what
Right.
this person's into. And then I'll talk about one of my products years ago that I did, and that it was a really good. So many things, and I'll explain what it did for us. But at the end of the day, there are some people that created businesses, or they got remote type jobs. So it was a great pause of saying, you know what, I'm not happy with my life, right? How many times we all thought that, like, I'm not happy right now, and this is a great time to say, okay, what are you going to do?
Right.
And this is what this person did with what was going on in her life. I'll give you the skinny on it. And then she created a product out of it. And I'm going to explain how that process happens. And by the way, this is the way it happens. Like, be a student of what's going on, right? But you can be a consumer, or you could be the one that creates, or the one that produces, whatever, however you want to put that in. Right down to, you see a lot of people that when they have a windfall, like they win a lottery or something, immediately they go into spending mode. People that have that financial mind may say, okay, it's time to plan. I don't want to outlive this money, or I don't want to see it go away. That's the best way to do it. So we're going to go right into the spotlight. So one moment, let me come here and bring her up. I love the story. This was brought to me because of another person that followed her, that she herself created a product. And one of the people that are on this advisory panel said, yeah, I heard that she went through a divorce, and the pandemic opened up a lot of things. She found out her husband was cheating, all this stuff, and they got a divorce. So not only was there a pandemic, she not only was laid off from her job, not only were you not allowed to go anywhere, she had all these things that she was facing. And instead of facing adversity, she turned it into a positive. And it's like, how cool is that? But she followed this person, which I'm going to show. And because of this, it gave her an idea, totally unrelated, by the way.
Right.
Totally unrelated, but it gave her an idea, and she created a business out of it. And before you know it, she was making, she turned it into a 7-figure business. So think about that. So now I'm going to talk about this one. So let me bring her up. One moment here. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, they should put banners on the same one, but that's all right. So this week's spotlight is Jasmine Taylor. I'm going to bring a picture of her up here so you guys all see what's going on. So this is Jasmine. And this gal, what she was doing, which, by the way, I just applaud her. And I'm going to give you a little bit of her backstory. And but what a go-getter. Like, this person just went for it. But during the pandemic, she was having a problem with budgeting. She realized now, and then she was, so actually it was before the pandemic. She was doing budgeting, and she decided, you know what? I am one of these people that don't follow through. So what I'm going to do is document it. And she documented it live, meaning she went to TikTok, her source, and she utilized TikTok, which, by the way, really blew up during the pandemic.
Right.
And she used that for her. And all she was wanting to do was document her journey. And then one thing that TikTok's really good at, they realize through engagement, or they somehow figure out, this is probably going to do well. And then they push it in front of everybody, where Facebook wants you to pay for that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right. That's right.
It would be really cool, even with like StreamYard, someday when you go live also on TikTok. So far, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
We'll come back to that. But TikTok was her that's what really blew her up. And she realized, oh my God, everyone was asking her, how did you do this? How did you do that? What are you buying? Because she had these notebooks, which I'll explain. And she's like, what if I just create it? Well, then the pandemic hit, and they were going to give the stimulus money, right? She was smart. Instead of becoming a what?
A consumer
or spender, she decided, I'm going to take that money and invest. This is my opportunity. And she invested into her own business. And this is what she created. I'm going to bring up her TikTok right here. I don't follow her, but it is, I don't know what Baddies is. What's Baddies?
I don't know.
Because her name is Jasmine Taylor. So I don't understand that. But at the end of the day, it was Baddies in budgets. I don't know. Maybe that's a word or a thing. I don't know. But this is Jasmine once again. So what she did is she created this budgeting product. And literally in 2022, it grew to 850,000.
Right.
And this year, they are expected to go well over 1 million. Now, here's what's cool about this product, because sometimes what people don't understand, when you hear that somebody did 1 million or 2 million, 10 million, 15 million, 100 million, you got to ask yourself, well, how much of that is revenue minus expenses and stuff like that, right?
Right.
What's nice about her product, because we kind of know this space a little bit, she does not have a lot of money in the fulfillment product. Okay. So that being said,
her margins are
pretty
higher than normal. Yeah.
And I would even say that she gets probably, now that's why I'd love to have her on the pod, because I would bet you her, now mind you, she does have some workers, so that would come into this,
Right.
but I would bet you at least 50% is like a net revenue.
It's net. Yeah. Probably pretty good chance.
Here's what the product looks like too. So this is what her inventory is right in her own home. So she makes these books, and now check this out. I don't know if I have the inside or not. Let's see if I have an inside. I do not, do I? Yeah, you kind of see it down in the bottom there. Where what it is these books, they're notebooks, right? You pick your cover, and then there's a library of the envelopes. Do you remember the old days of the envelopes your grandparents would do?
Oh,
Here's mortgage, food, whatever.
Yep.
So it was an envelope system. I think there's better tools than that, but some people need that gratification of touch, feel, see, right?
Exactly. Right.
And that's never going to go away. By the way, I still use, it's way over there.
Right.
I
Tangible.
still use a manual calendar because I like marketing it up. I like taking notes, but I also have a digital calendar as well.
Right.
My digital calendar is managed by my wife. My manual calendar is managed by myself. And then anything that's got to go on the calendar, I just send it, right? So we've come up with a system inside Linkboard that is going to automate this make it so much easier so you can have both, right? So that's what you do. You figure out what's working for you. This is what was working for her. She documented it to the world, and the world responded. Okay, so her audience responded, and she grew up. Let's see, how many followers does she have? 600, and let's call it 600,000. So she's got 600,000 on TikTok. Don't know what she's got on YouTube. TikTok is a great way to become known. There is no doubt about it. I don't think Congress is going to be successful at bringing TikTok down or banning it. I just don't.
No.
Because there is the thing with America, being American, freedom of speech. So now, if there's anything bad, which I don't know, okay, you could have some censorship there, whatever, but I don't think it's ever going to come down. But once again, this is her product. Look at how simple this is, folks. So I'm going to show you one that we had. I had a company called Capital Resolution. So think of how similar. So of course, when I heard this story, I was really interested because I'm like, oh my gosh, I had a product similar to that.
Right.
We had an online version of the enveloping. It was called Budget Frog, like Ribbit.
Right.
Okay. And that was where they went in. It had calculators. They had where they can drop everything into these buckets. She's got a physical, which is great. Mine was this income tracker. Okay. So what it did is it tracked your expenses and your income so that you know where your spending is going. Like you're going to know that you're overspending or not. That's the whole idea. That's the concept.
Right.
So matter of fact, this fall with Linkboard, we have this management system that's going to make tax reporting, all of these things that we all find just daunting and fearful. And if we can take that fear out of it and delegate, the better the trajectory of your life goes, right?
100%.
So we're taking what people are finding as pain points. Some of it's coming right from my group. And we're saying, how can we incorporate this? All of the pain points of a small business, because our job is for our customer to outgrow us, right?
Right.
So someday they may still always use Linkboard, but at the end of the day, once you get over a certain number, now you're in that top 1%. Obviously, you're at a different level now. So, but our goal is our customer, we want to get them to that point. So I love the point. So she started reporting on it. And what do you think that did in the process? One of the things that you have to do with any product, you have to remember, it wasn't even a product yet.
Right.
But anytime during a product, when you're creating a product, is you got to flush it out. So it was already being fleshed out by her audience. Like they wanted it. She didn't even have a product yet. So, and then the next step was she developed it, which I'm assuming she went to China. Okay. I would love to know that. They never said where her sourcing is coming from.
Right.
But I would love to know that. And then she had, by the way, I'm going to bring something up too that I saw over the weekend. And then she realized, oh my gosh, this audience wants this. She blew up. She saw she was going viral. She took the pandemic money, created a product out of it. And at that point, once again, $1 million business.
Right.
But here's the secret to the whole thing. What do you see in this whole thing that stands out to you? As like, there's a secret here as to what's going on. What is she? How did she hit $1 million?
She had I don't want to say a simple idea, but hey, I'm going to document my life, and she was consistent with it. Picked the right media source, for lack of a better term, and you know what I mean. And just by being herself and doing what living, she nailed it.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. She picked one media source to start, but there's still one other thing that she did. She took one idea, because as you know, there's going to be a lot of things that she could do to get that second and third product. But here's where I love her product idea. Number one, they'll tell you when you have a product, you got to have 2 or 3 behind it, because once somebody buys the product,
they want more.
They want more, right? Well, yes and yes, or yes and no. Here's where I say no, not always true. Eventually, yes, but you don't need it right away. She didn't need it right away. Why? She already had an audience that wanted this product. Hey, we want to do what you do, but you look creative and I'm not going to do that. Can we just buy this from you?
Right. Wait, for me, it seems like, you're going up the, you're going up the hill as far as like revenue goes, you know what I mean? And stuff. Then once you're getting ready to you know what I mean? Like you kind of max that out, then you hit number 2.
Yes. And then you have it there. It's like you and I, we have a lot of back burner product. Including even, shouldn't probably say, and this is another thing I learned over the weekend. So I'll bring this up, but would be like Dine Hop. That's still down the road. Restaurants are still having issues. But at the end of the day, that product someday will come to life.
Right. No. We have 4 or 5 great ideas in the hopper we haven't developed yet.
Yes.
Or partial developed or quarter developed, or you know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
Frameworks around it. But yeah,
Yeah, and you and I together had this boss program, and of course Grub Guys, and they're just, but oh my God, it's just so much fun. Like, so, and there's days like we have a convention that we have to go, or not a convention, whatever you want. Yeah, it is on Monday.
Right.
And that will help you further new ideas.
That's exactly
darn well you're going to get ideas there, right? So
100%.
Make sure. So here's the lesson in this whole thing, folks. $850,000 business in a couple years. Okay, going to be $1 million business this year. Obviously, she's already on track. Her sales already to this date is on track. So if you do just and then you have cycle, especially with financial. September, for whatever reason, is a big one. But at the end of the day, and of course, January. But at the end of the day, she's going to have some really big peaks. But $850,000 business, once again, I'm going to bring it up here. Started out with this. She was reporting. She's reporting on what she was doing. She got an audience. And what do you look at? 600,000 followers. She doesn't even have to create an ad.
Right.
So imagine if she can move these people. This is one thing I would recommend that she does. Maybe she did. I don't know. But if she could move them to YouTube, would bring it to even another level, and then move them to her own platform. Yes.
Yes. 100%,
Because
yes.
now you really control the whole process. But at the end of the day, I'm assuming she did a lot of the right stuff, like email list and all that good stuff.
Right.
But here's the big one. Ready? For her blowing this product up, she stayed with one product, and here's how she got away with it, folks. Her product is consumable, meaning they buy the cover, they buy the insides, and then eventually they may get a car, so they don't have the envelope for a car payment. So now they got to get that.
Right.
And because she built a brand, they want hers. They can't wait for her to come out with a new thing. Maybe they want a new cover now because their cover's wearing out.
Right.
Whatever it is, whatever she can add to this, especially when it comes to the saving side.
Oh yeah.
She started out with just budgets. Now she can bring it to another level. Is what do you do with savings now? How about investing that? Now you got to be careful.
Well, exactly. But you even have kids' books, like, hey, savings for your kids and setting them up. And, you know what I mean? There's so many different rabbit holes you can go down with that one idea.
That one idea. So the secret here, folks, if you did a timeline, I'll do a PDF tonight. She reported on it. She saw that she had an audience, which gave her the idea, by the way. It wasn't reverse that. She started reporting on all she wanted to do is say, I need to hold myself accountable. So she started reporting on it because that would hold her accountable. Right?
That's right.
Does that sound familiar with some stuff? Anyway, so so she's going to do that. And then from there, they were saying, hey, and then she's like, oh, this is a product. So then she went to and you know that product and development is a lot of fun. Research and development, I mean. Research and development, she found a place she fulfills right from her. So now she's in the shipping business.
Right.
She's in the fulfillment business.
That's right.
Because this is the next 5 years, folks, for sure. This is a great idea. This is why I wanted to spotlight it this week. Now let's talk about where this came about. So one of the advisors, they say, yeah, I had this person I wanted to bring back, COVID had stuff, couldn't do the office thing. And at the end of the day, couldn't get her back. So he found out she was going through some of his problems. So he was thinking, maybe I'll just raise her pay. Yes. And he really feels like he's going to get her back. But she, out of respect, comes to the office meeting. And in that office meeting, he's like, hey, I would love for you to be back. And I would like to offer you this as a salary. And she didn't do this, but I envisioned it, like pushing it back. Right. She pushes it back and says, hey, just so you know, like during this whole time, I went through a really bad point. He didn't want to bring that up because it was like rumor mill, but he already knew. And she goes, but sometimes in your darkest of moments comes a light. And it's like, gave me a chill now, right? It's like, wow, I love that. Love that. In your darkest of moments, you will find light. And it's like, and she says, so I came across this gal, and she mentioned this person. He's like me, he writes everything down. And he goes, well, what did she do? And she explained it. And then there is a couple, like you can find a video where they spotlight her. It's like, I forget what it was. She was on like a local news like type thing, right? Okay. So folks, when you hear that, where did the workers go? A lot of it is this. Right. They created things during the pandemic. You got spenders, you got creators. So some of you that are following the shiny object syndrome, meaning the Lambos, the big yachts and stuff, a lot of them owe for that. Some of it's even fake. Those are spenders. The Warren Buffett's, it's okay to have something. Like, it's okay. But the more you invest in yourself, the more you create a product idea, that's life-changing. That's currency. Right. That's true currency. When you depend on others, including the government, you're at risk. That's risky. Okay? Investing in penny stock, risk or not risk?
I mean, it's risky, but at least you're investing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but I consider that gambling.
Well, it is. You know what I mean? But you're gonna hit. You know, you can make money with it, or you can lose money.
Yeah,
with
you
it.
can. And I know of a few people that are doing it. I still tell them though, just so you know, though, you're gambling. You're getting lucky on stuff. The more research you do, yes, you can
The
win.
more informed, you know what I mean? Like obviously, people do very well day trading
Yes.
and that kind of stuff. I mean, but you got to know your business. You know,
Yes.
you got to
And
know
day trading, knowing the right companies, that's different than just technically penny stocks.
stocks,
But
right?
yes, and if you're really good at what you do, so you can do it that way. I'm one of these people that don't like to gamble. Do you know that on one hand, I played the lottery, like literally in my life. I just don't do it. I don't care it's $1 billion. I don't care if it's $1 trillion. I'm not going to do it. I know the odds are better than being struck by lightning in your home. Like, so not even being outside. So no, I'm not going to do it. Are there lucky people? I would rather work on something like this that you know has a better possibility of success because you're working it, doing your research development. And there's just such an easy process to this if people would just get it. So here's the lesson. She found her audience. She creates this product and she stayed with the one thing.
Right.
So going back to Lisa or Liza, eventually I want to get her on too. She followed her, got an idea totally different than this idea, but it did have to do with single women. So it had something to do with women that went through a divorce or something like that. And she went over. So this one that inspired her, right? She inspired her and she was probably doing 150,000. This other one, Liza, went to 1.2 or 1.3 million. So she tells one of our advisors, Alan, she says, listen, I got to tell you, during that time, I went through a rough spell, and she explains it. For those that are just turning in now, this is not this person. This is another one that this person inspired her. And she said, so I created a business, and this is what I created. And he's like, what? So she explains, he goes, well, what's the revenue? She goes, well, I already hit 1.2 million this year. We're probably going to hit 2. He's like, what? Now think of how embarrassing in a weird way, right? I'm going to offer her this job. So it must have just looked so bad. Like, I don't know what he was offering her. He never said.
Right.
Let's just say it was 80. Okay,
right.
So 80,000 a year, right? And she's going to hit 2 million this year. By the way, that's net. That was net with her.
Holy crap.
Remember, we don't know what Taylor's net is, but I will tell you this, folks. I know this industry. I know what it was for us to produce these, which is very similar. Back then, this was more expensive. Today, you've got companies that, there's a company, we'll share it next week. I don't want to do this actually, but there is a company that you can go to and they are your advocate. They are your buyer for overseas products. We'll just call it that. Overseas vendors, right? So if you want, for instance, we have a journal that's going to be coming out this fall, and we have a financial journal that's going to accompany it, along with this guy that syncs with Linkboard. It almost turned on, by the way, that syncs with Linkboard. So all of it works with Linkboard. Unfortunately, I'm still trying to find a U.S. company, but unfortunately, we may have to go overseas. I'm probably going to use this company. I don't want to fly to China. I don't want to fly over in Europe, meaning let them do it. Like, sourcing is great, but if somebody is really good at that thing, why wouldn't you just let them do it? Okay.
That's right.
And so that's what I would do. But going back to her, knowing roughly, with the exception she has fulfillment help, she doesn't have a lot of money into this product. She does not. Hey, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is on Product Spotlight. Jasmine Taylor. What's that?
Jasmine Taylor.
Jasmine Taylor. Once again, we're going to try to get her on the pod. $850,000 business, selling one product. But going back to the one product thing, what I love about this, like you can quickly add on to this product.
Oh so my gosh. Right. No, for sure. And we started talking about it, but her margins, even with her expenses, whether she's renting a building, insurance, all the business fees,
doing this out of
card processing
home.
fees, a couple employees, she's still probably netting 60%.
I would bet you. Whereas for us, with some of our products would be a little less than that. Like Grub Guys, there's a lot more involved.
Right, right.
Uh,
It's no different than bikes. You know what I mean?
yep.
Like when you know when you're a retailer, you know, like
Yeah.
on my side, when you're a retailer for a wholesaler, your margins aren't what it is when you take it cradle to grave.
Right.
It's that's just a fact of life.
And when it's all done, we're probably still at 25, 30%, which is still huge. Like that's still a great margin. So as you know, restaurants, their margin is what? Like 1 or 2% or something.
Right. Like no, it's crazy. Like maybe 10 at the tops. You know.
Yeah. And that's if you streamline it, you know. Anyways.
Right.
So I'm gonna show the product again. I mean, look at how simple. Come on. This made an $850,000. It's going to be $1 million year for her this year, over $1 million, by the way. And once again, the person that this inspired this person to do this, and it was one that she caught. One moment, let me bring up my notes. So here's what it was. Ironically, it was a TikTok, and she was always reporting. And of course, she now launched her product. And because of that, she goes, I just want to let you thank everybody. I hit like 300,000, whatever it was. Right.
Right.
And it was that she's like, what? That made, and that's where her idea got sparked.
Right.
That's why you got to be able to, but don't always be in research and development. I see a lot of people always stay there. You got to be able to move. This chick, I shouldn't say chick, this young lady saw a great idea, saw that people wanted it, ran with it, and made it into this. Now she's so brandable. Not a big fan of the name, but who am I to say, right? So what is Baddies? Do you know what that is?
No.
It's got to be a slang word for something. Anyways, Baddies and Budgets. I don't know what that is, but regardless, Baddies and Budgets, is it easy to remember? It's BB, yeah, maybe. I'm not loving the name, but hey, it's working. But what I love about this, she could create an app. There's all sorts of things that she could do with that business. The product itself, very easy to make. Quite honestly, she could probably, no way, dude, listen to this. She makes them.
What?
She makes these.
That's
so get
crazy.
this. Okay. So get this. She is, by the way, I've got somebody behind the scenes to give me info. So she has a Cricut. So with the pandemic money, she purchased a Cricut and she makes these covers. She buys these binders at bulk. Oh, there's a better way for that. I'm going to find out. We got to have her on this. There's a better way, by the way. She buys these in bulk and she buys the inserts and everything that's labeled, they do internally. I got to applaud that. Like,
Right.
That is smart. So she's now actually, she is truly fulfillment. So she's actually creating this product internally. Now she's not creating the actual, these actual binders. So she's getting these binders from someone or some company. But what's on these folks is a Cricut. Like, do you know what a Cricut is?
Yeah.
My daughter has one. It makes the vinyl and you stick it. Do you remember Geek Link? We had a pro version of that. Okay. And what it is it creates the vinyl cutouts.
Right.
So wording, stuff like that. If you ever see a sign that for a restaurant or whatever, a lot of times it's made that way. Or if you see a car that's wrapped, not necessarily the vinyl wording is done on a machine. The actual wrap that's an image, that's done on a different type of machine, and usually you outsource that. But at the end of the day, so she is actually creating this product internally. Did not know that one. So she could actually even make this even more lucrative by outsourcing all of that, and maybe, just maybe, but again, maybe that's what she wanted to do, is be able to hire people that she knows, loves, you know what I mean? Like, she wanted to create jobs. So that's really cool. I would love to know more about that. But once again, she keeps her own inventory. She creates her own product, which is cool. It all started here with TikTok, turned it into an $850,000 business with only 600,000. I shouldn't say only. That's actually a pretty big audience. Here's another thing, what people don't understand. There are YouTube channels that just rifle like what used to be considered good viewers, if you will, of shows. Let's just use like the Today Show. So today people can have that same audience, and they are the creator, and they determine who's going to be the advertiser or sponsor or whatever. So you can create your own environment, which she did. I noticed one thing that we just checked on. She does not have she has no sponsor. So she is the sponsor of her own thing, which is smart.
Right.
Okay. So she has no sponsor. She is the sponsor. She is following a lookalike audience, smart, Dave Ramsey. So she is somehow getting her content to get in front of, she's doing it through hashtags. Smart. I'll tell you, this girl, she did her homework. So she's very, very smart. So anyways, okay, so that was this week's Spotlight. Once again, for those, if you could put it in the banner, take this one off. I'll take this one off. For those that want to go deeper, we're going to talk about this product creation because of the fact that if you have a physical product, you can be like her and really streamline it and make it so much simple to go from concept, idea to concept to market so much faster, just like Jasmine did. Okay. Even with us with Grub Guys, it was pretty fast. Like we went from concept to market fairly quick. It's what you do in between that makes the product, right?
That's right.
So we're going to go in depth on that today. That'll be released at 1:00 today inside the Link Boss group, and it will be under units. All right, that's going to conclude today. Appreciate having you on, D, of course. And anything else you want to discuss?
No, it's encouraging seeing stuff like this because, it just goes to prove our point on a daily basis that anybody can do it.
Without a doubt. And by the way, if any of you want to go deeper, Linkboard, manage your business, manage your teams, manage your projects. We're going to have so many tools in there that's going to help you. So if you have an ADD problem, it's going to keep you hyper-focused. Okay. We have ideas, including, I don't know if you see when you're backwards, see this here?
Right. Yeah.
Speaker. I listen to background music when I'm in flow. It really helps me. We have little things that's going to help you, but there's so many things that we're going to do. The new and improved Linkboard gets launched next week. We have early adopters. If you need revenue right away, we have an affiliate program that's going to help you. So that today's sponsor is our own product, just like we always believe in. Jasmine's doing that. I think it's smart. But at the end of the day, Linkboard's going to help you manage not only your teams, manage yourself, manage the communications, manage the products that you're developing. I don't care if it's digital or physical, it's going to manage it. And then we have an API that's going to bring in another program that if you bring this inside of Linkboard, your business is on steroids. You will get, like Jasmine, to the number way faster. I've seen so many people spend too much time on perfectionism. Trust me on that. I'm that guy. Okay. So I've been there. I've done that. You got to get past that. In 2023, did you know in 2023, I hate to keep talking money, but sometimes you have to do it. In 2023, more millionaires will be produced in the history of the world. And it doesn't matter of the administration. Don't think of that I don't care if Trump's in office. Now, mind you, sometimes there are markets that do better depending on what's going on, right? If they put a kibosh to your industry, yeah, that's going to put a hurting to that. Right. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you as a creator. Who cares who's in office? Who cares? Do you realize the ones that are going to be doing it this year, just like Jasmine, they didn't care about, well, who's in office this year? Maybe I should wait. They just get an idea and they run. Inside Linkboard, we're going to show you the proper way of streamlining it. How do you get a product to the world faster? That's what you need to do. You got to be like her. How do you create that audience too, right? That's some of the things that we're doing that we're going to be reporting on that we now have, with the exception we need a videographer, which you and I talked about.
Right. You know, it just, I mean, but this is just proof. Last week's subject was a one-person business. Jasmine, you know what I mean? How to start out as a one-person business.
And she hired her friends. I think her let's call her team 5 and under. Man, I love that. 5 and under. See, 5 and under. Folks, here's one thing I want to tell you. I had one person say, you know, I just can't see myself like building this thing and exiting and building a billion. You don't need to build a billion dollar idea. You can build a very lucrative business. Don't believe the ones that say you have to have, 1,000 employees or more.
No.
If you want that life, then go for it. You can definitely do that. But you know what my model is 10 and under. That was mine.
Hey, that's exactly right.
Where are you right now with all considering?
Yeah, no, I mean,
if you were to get
5.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have had you 10.
Nope.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I don't want what I want is the one-on-many method and systems. Folks, even Linkboard. If you have the right systems, you do not need that. Okay. I was on with a realtor, an attorney for a reason. And he says, what do you think this? I said, well, you know that document you looked over? He says, yes. I go, it was done with Chat GTP. He goes, what? Scared the hell out of him.
Right.
But he's also exiting. He's retiring. Okay. So he's in a good spot. But he goes, you got to be kidding me. I said, you're going to find that the ones with the licenses are going to look over. They're going to become consultants more than ever. Trust me on this, folks. This is one thing I believe with every cell in my body, that people that have licenses, okay, and I'm not talking all. If you're a doctor, obviously we're going to still need them, but even robots are doing surgeries now, right? So yes, you need the person that's doing it, but you can be a doctor today and perform a surgery in California. How crazy is that? But here's the thing. That would scare me personally. But here's the thing. Today, with systems, you can build a very lucrative business, and now it allows you to live more. Why would you want to wait to live? You got to do it now. The saying going, we can all get hit by a bus tomorrow. So you got to be able to do it. What's this? Hey, who's this?
This is Devin.
Wow. What? That's fantastic. It's funny that he says this because even with corporate bylaws, we wanted to see how well it did. It was like you couldn't even put. It's how you ask Chat GPT.
Yeah.
It's how well you ask the question, the output that you're going to get.
Right.
So if you got to be really thorough with the question, and you're going to get a very thorough answer. And then there's a way to get around a bot actually created this, or AI created this. There is a way around that. Do I love it? I do. Okay, here's where I love it. I love it for like this, Devin. I love it for like this idea. I love it that it wrote a non-disclosed, non-circumvent NDA agreement. Because darn well, nothing against attorneys. I'm going to call up an attorney, right? Now, some of them, like they do it for favors for me, but I can call up an attorney and say, what do you think he's doing? Do you think?
I mean, as he picks the phone up, he's hitting the button to charge you.
It's that, but on top of that, they have templates.
Well, exactly.
They're not writing that whole thing. They're just filling in what's needed for you. Well, that's what Chat GTP does now. And so I see it as a tool. Would I have it write my book? No. I want that to be I want it to be mine. You know what I mean? It's not going to be able to have my personality. It's not. Yes, you could say, give it a personality as if, for instance, I'm going to give you this for instance. Let's say you wanted to write a book and you say, I want you to write the book as if Jack Nicholson wrote it, and it will do it. And it will sound as if Jack Nicholson wrote it. Do you get what I mean when I say that?
Yep.
I just find that a little like, okay, so what's real, what's not today? I don't like that part of it, but I love it as part of as a tool. Are we bringing AI features inside Linkboard? Yes, and after the next phase, we're bringing in some of these tools that are next level. I'm not going to share as to what. That was another one over the weekend. Hold whatever you're doing close to your chest.
Not the truth.
Why did something bite you?
Oh well, no, I know that's dude. That's I've always lived that way.
Yeah.
The more, you know what I mean. You don't want anybody to know.
You got to do it, and I'm not real good at that. Meaning, now there's some things we had to do, but I love to share, and I'm like, I don't care. Elon Musk he doesn't trademark anything or patent.
No,
he goes, by the time somebody knocks it off, it doesn't matter. He wants to give back anyway. But for me, it was a matter of, I gotta be careful. There was somebody just recently, he's launching, and they admitted this. He's launching a product. Actually, it is now launched. And get this, first round funding, he got right around 10 million. Now, mind you, he's got a little bit of a name. He's done some things. And he did say that people that are underfunded, that's where the problem. But look at what Jasmine did. This is why I love the small approach, because you don't need those big teams. You don't need big dollars, depending on what you're building.
Right.
But at the end of the day, here's what he did. He admitted that he had guests on his podcast just to pick their brains so that he would know if his idea was good, because he was doing the same thing they were. I don't like that. You're right. To me, that's a conflict of interest. I'd be a little pissed off.
No, for sure.
If it were me, I would never do that. Right. I would never. Meaning, if I had somebody like Jasmine, and I'm not going to create that product. No. I'm kind of in that same field. Matter of fact, what I might want to do is team up with her on something. I might be able to give her something that she doesn't have, and vice versa. She has the audience. Do you see the real? Listen to this one. This is profound. This happened way back when I was, remember, being a student of what's going on. I'm going to go back to Frank Kern. So Frank Kern, Jeff Walker, Brendan Bouchard, who was some other ones, Eben Pagan. What they would do is Eben would come up with this product, or Jeff Walker, let's use him for a moment. Jeff Walker came up with this incredible product, and it was the product launch formula, right? He teamed up with them because he says, you guys got the audience. I've got the product. It blends well with your message. Hey, what if we team up and you guys get 50%? What do you think that does for your bottom line? So let's give you an example. Let's bring her back up. I know that we were supposed to go. Hey, do we have another question? Nope. Good morning. If you do have a question, feel free to. So going back to Jasmine, let me just bring her up one more time. Yeah, they should definitely put this on the other. So here was her product, right? And this is her fulfillment inside her house. This here is where it all started, right? So she created a business utilizing TikTok. Is TikTok free, or do you have to pay for it?
No, I think TikTok's free, right?
Yeah, so watch this one. Ready? This is a huge lesson. This is fact. This is how it works, folks. Ready? Imagine her. She's already at 850. She's going to do over 1 million this year. What if there was a product that she can't make or she didn't think of, and she's like, wow, that's a good idea. And that company, let's just say somebody like ourselves, says, hey, we have this thing that would do really well with your audience. I think she should have a podcast. I don't think she does. I think she should. But what if she said, hey, everybody, I want to tell you about this thing. And she then promotes it, gets 50% or even more. Sometimes people are willing to give 100. Why would they do that? I'm going to ask you that. Why would a company say, I'll tell you what, we're selling it for this. We'll give you 100% of all profits. The only thing we need is whatever the cost is going to be. Why would they do that?
A, to gain customers, gain email lists.
That's it.
You know,
that's the whole reason. There's a thing, write this down. It's called customer acquisition. You always got to figure out. If I was to ask you, I'm not going to, what does it cost for you guys to obtain a customer? If you don't have that number, especially for an investor, they're bye-bye. They're not going to tell you bye-bye. They're just not going to call you. Like they're very like, They don't waste their time. They don't want to get in a pissing contest. So at the end of the day, this is going to say goodbye. You got to know your numbers. We all know that from even Shark Tank, right? So can you imagine Jasmine now? If I was a coach for Jasmine, who do you know? Who do you know? Even David Ramsey. Do you think for a moment that Dave Ramsey, even though he's got a ginormous following, do you think for a moment he wouldn't want to tap into that 600,000 following?
Who wouldn't?
Even if he got a third of it as new subscribers or new customers, what is that worth to his bottom line? So here's where the money is made. She's already done this. If I were her, I would say, where can I get a big pop? A big pop would be, well, hey, this company has this. It's an incredible tool that my customer would want. And guess what? She gets part of that launch. Let's say the launch is 7 days. So let's use this as an example. So let's say September, October is an incredible time for financial products. Okay. So let's say that she did this in that launch time. Hey, everybody, it's Jasmine, and this is what this person has, and I believe in it and all that. And they buy, she can increase her bottom line by $1 million like that. Brendan Burchard's done it. Frank Kern's done it. There's people that with affiliate marketing have had $1 million days.
Oh, yeah.
Never created the product.
Right.
It's all about the following, her having a audience. So now, is she going to do it here? The better way is she's going to send it to her email list, because that's where, there's more engagement too. Or she would do some sort of, hey, I have a webinar coming up, and then she invites that person on, and they have an event, a one-day event. Then they have, anyways, I'm not going to get into the whole launch stuff, but if she did that, she could increase. There's so many ways for her to monetize her brand, let alone coming out with another product.
Absolutely.
So once again, the reason why I love her deal is the fact that her product is evergreen with some changes. You got to be current with it, and it's something that's never going to go out of style for the most part. It has a huge scale factor to it, and all she would have to do is stay in this lane for the rest of her life. And she'll never have to. Right now, she's creating her own currency. All right. It is going up on the 10 o'clock hour. We will see everybody. Now, next week, we're going to do Wednesday and Thursday. And same time, between 8:45 and 9. On Wednesday, it's going to be 9 o'clock.
Sounds great.
Alrighty, folks, you have a great week moving forward. Remember, get inside the Link Boss group. More stuff happens right in there.
Yep.